So hey guys, this is going to be an interesting video that I hope that you'll find really informative and interesting. And we're going to be talking about Wolves' new kit supplier, SUDU, how it links to Levy Sports, how that links to SUDU, how that links to Wolves, how that links to FOSUN, and how that also links to the head of FOSUN. I'm joined this afternoon by my good friend, Cheerful Chris, who's been
Evening,
helping.
Dave.
Yeah, you've been helping a lot with the research on this over many months.
Goes back to, I think, November when you first messaged me and said you think you'd got some information, and we started
Well,
looking into it.
well,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And what we want to do is give you the backdrop. Obviously, we've all seen the leaked shirts. These leaked shirts, which is the away shirt. That's what it's said to be looking like with the panel in the minute, and we got the D bet there, which we'll come on to at the end. There's been a few other shirts that have been leaked. I know for a fact that the third shirt is going to be purple. Don't know if this is going to be the design. It looks very similar, like one from a few years ago that we did. I can't think who the sponsor was on the front of that, but it's a similar sort of lilacly purple. This is again only rumored, and then obviously the new shirt. Again, this is all we've seen so far. We don't know how accurate this is. Again, looks interesting, but we know that Debet's going to be the sponsor, and we will talk about that again a little bit at the end. But we do know for a fact, pretty much certain, that this is going to be the black away top. Now, to give everyone a little bit of background to this, obviously Wolves currently are with Castor. Now, they've been with Castor for 2 or 3 years. Before that, we know we were with Adidas. I want to give a little bit of background on this before we get on to the link between Levy Merchandise, SUDU, Wolves, and FOSUN. And that is that when we was in Adidas, the first shirt that we had was really good. I do know that Adidas, because we're not a Man United or a Liverpool or anyone like that, we literally had about a choice of 2 kits each year. They wasn't bespoke in any way, shape, or form, and you were just basically said, "This is what you're going to give, and if you don't like it, well, pick the worst, the one that you don't like." So the first kit with Adidas, we all know, was absolutely fantastic. We loved it. The black kit was great, but Wolves were very limited in. They were basically being told what they were going to wear by Adidas. So Wolves moved to Castor. Castor, a disruptor brand. They've grown into other, we've seen with Rangers, Newcastle. I think they're going to be West Ham next year. They've been with Villa as well.
Do other sports as well, Dave. They do England
Yeah,
cricket team, rugby shirts. They've got everywhere. Castor.
Andy
They've really
Murray,
promoted. Yeah.
Andy Murray. So it's been a disruptor brand. They've grown quite a lot. Now, the model that Wolves had with Castor was massively different to the model that Castor would have with, say, the likes of Villa or Rangers, where they produced the kit. Castor only produced the pro shirt. They only produced the pro shirt, the shirt that the players wore, or you could buy for, extra 20-30 quid at the club shop. Wolves didn't make a lot of money on the pro shirt, but they had license from Castor to be able to manufacture and produce the replica shirts, which is where they make most of the money. I don't know exactly the pricing structure. I think it costs probably around about £6-7 to make, and obviously they make money on that. And Wolves' reason they went to this model, they were frustrated that they were not able to open up markets around the world very quickly, and because they've got this model with Castor license to manufacture, they could open markets a lot quickly and sell more shirts. And that's the way the model has been working. That's basically where we're at, aren't we, Chris?
Yeah, and I have to say, what we were getting from Castor, I thought were pretty good shirts, and good designs, different designs. You know, you remember, you with me a little bit, that strawberry red thing that we had this year. I was off on one. I wasn't having that. Wolves don't play in red, all this sort of stuff. And then when I saw it at the club shop, it was, well, I actually quite like that, and I ended up
I still
buying.
don't like it. Me and you
No,
still don't agree on that. I
yeah,
thought it was
but
like a
I bought
strawberry. I
it in the
never liked
end.
Spain in red. But yeah,
Yep.
so like obviously what we need to judge, we're not here to say any of the kits are good or bad or anything like that. That's not what we're here to talk about today, because everyone will make a judgment on that when the kit is actually announced. I mean, we've got Si here saying that the Castle Wolf gear is good, but wasn't the money maker we hoped for. Maybe we would like to have stuck with them. I think they did make a fair bit of money out of it. Obviously, Castor, the hoodies, there was a lot of good quality, and as I say, they've grown as a brand. But this is where we started to put a few connections go. I had a couple of phone calls last November, December, stating that Wolves were looking like they were going to move from Castor. So this goes back quite a long time. At the same sort of time, it wasn't widely announced, but Vinnie Clark was head of retail for Wolves. He moved over to be the CEO of Levy Merchandising, which was an interesting one. Now, when we went on to that, when I went and had a look on the Levy Merchandising's website, and I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this now. What I discovered was, if I can find this, what I discovered, the homepage of Levy Merchandise. I don't know if that's come up yet. Can you see that on the screen? Yeah. So you can, so the homepage, as you can see, of Levy Merchandise is, interestingly enough, branded with Wolves Wolves products, Levy Merchandise product trading fulfillment. And there is Vinnie Clark, who's a nice bloke, who is obviously the CEO. It goes on to talk, but all the images, as you can see on that, is Wolves branded. Wolves partnerships. Talked about the retail. It's got pictures to Wolves on there. It's all Wolves and licensing. So that's what struck me as like, okay, so Vinny's moved over from Wolves to become CEO of Levy Merchandising, and Levy Merchandising homepage is full branded with Wolves. So that's made me thinking, okay, so Levy Merchandising, Vinny's moved over. Wolves already have contacts to manufacturer. I've been told that we're moving from the kit. Are Wolves going to produce their own kit for the following season? So, did a little bit more, obviously, investigating on that. And we've come to the conclusion that all of these things were sort of aligning, and it looked like Wolves were going to be making their own kits. Wolves have made their own kits in the past, so that's fine. And we thought, okay. The other interesting thing that came out at the same time that we found out about, a long time before, it hasn't really been. I mean, Vinny moving wasn't a major story on Wolves, which I thought was a bit surprising at the time, because he was a main senior member of Wolves. But Wolves have also moved all of the retail arm of Wolves under Levy Merchandising. So all the staff at Wolves last season, and up until around about November time, were all employed directly by Wolves. Chris, it's fair to say that all of those have now moved over and are employed by Levy. The same sort of contract.
Yeah. I think anybody that's selling you something in the club shop, serving you there, anybody that's serving you a pie or a pint in match day now, I think all of those people are now employed or contracted to a contractor that works for levy merchandising?
Well, actually, the pies Wolves were already with Levy because they were with Levy Retail, I think, or Levy Catering, and a lot of clubs use Levy Catering and outsource the catering. But it's not sort of the thing that they do with Levy Merchandising. This is obviously a new sort of thing,
Yeah.
and all the staff got moved over. I don't think anyone's lost their jobs or anything like that. It's just that it's all moved over under Levy Merchandising. So you
Yeah,
put
it's basically taken the. I mean, in terms of profit sustainability and all that sort of stuff, you could argue that what's happened is those overhead burdens of staff, pension contributions, all of those things that cost money when you employ staff, that's been moved outside of the cost of running Wolves. That's now part of Levy's cost. I don't know the arrangement and how Levy get paid for doing that, but that's how
something
that
we're going to get
works.
into. Yeah,
Yeah.
something we're going to get into. So right, so this is the story so far. So Vinny's moved over from Wolves Retail to Levy Merchandising. Levy Merchandising front page is all branded Wolves. All the Wolves retail staff are now working, including the warehouse, are now under Levy Merchandisers. There's a lot of skill set that's gone out there. I'm sure there's a reasoning for that, but it's kind of outsourced basically. So, okay, Wolves manufacture their own kit. So this was something that we sort of knew about a while ago. We haven't gone public with it out of respect for people within the club and stuff like that. But obviously, you've seen the leak pictures of that have come out. I'll put them up again. The away shirt, potential home shirt. Not sure how accurate that is, and we know that it's going to be gold, black, and purple. So the next thing is, who are SUDU? SUDU, who are they? And that's the thing that where it gets really, really interesting, Chris, isn't it?
Yes, it's quite a mixed story of ownership, and it's been quite interesting trying to piece it together. And I think we probably have got most of those puzzles aligned now. It's been a little bit like trying to do a jigsaw without having the front lid and knowing what the picture should look like. But I think we probably got there with SUDU. I think it's fair to say with what information we've found, any notion that this is all a load of pie in the sky in terms of SUDU and shirt manufacturing, we're not having that sort of manufacturers. That's not the case. It's pretty much got to be them because of what the information we've found. So that's pretty
We're gonna
much where
do.
we
We're
are.
gonna what we're gonna do is we're gonna dig deep, and this is gonna be fascinating. Trust me. Stay with us on this because this is fascinating how this paper trail goes from here. So I'm gonna get. We're gonna show you the links, or try and show you the links, and how Levy, Wolves, SUDU, and FOSUN are all kind of linked. And someone's made the point up here. Levin is trying to expand and use their catering to build a business in it. That is kind of like along the lines, I think, what they are trying to do, and how Wolves are obviously trying to raise revenue, as we think, by being a part of this. Now, Chris, I'm going to hand over to you now to talk everyone through, and then I'll put all the evidence that we found up on the screen as we go.
Okay, so if we start at the bottom and SUDU. So SUDU's a new company formed in 2023. It doesn't have any accounts, but what you can do is find them on the trademark register,
I'll
which
put that
Dave
up
can
for you
put up.
now. Here we go. Is that up on the screen?
Yeah, there we go. So that's the trademark number, and you can see the logo there, SUDU, and this is all available on government UK websites. So this is no secret access or anything like that. It's all, you know, you just need to do a bit of digging and find it. So yeah, it's an established trademark, and that's like Adidas, Puma, that sort of thing. But we've got SUDU, so you can see it was first entered into register in 2023. So this is within the best part of an accounting year, and that's where we go. And then if you go up to the top, you can start looking at the things that they do. So if you click on list of goods, it will help give you a whole raft of what they will produce. Click on the pluses, Dave. You can see trunks and traveling bags, so you can expect all this kind of stuff to start appearing in the club shop, which most of it already does anyway. But shirts, polo shirts, t-shirts, it tells you everything, even baby boots, that sort of stuff. It doesn't mean we're going to get all of that. It's just the licenses and trademarks that they can produce. So that's there we go. And then the interesting bits is if you click on the names and addresses, you start to find out who the owner of the brand are, which everybody will see that is owned by FOSUN.
FOSUN Sports Group.
So the trademark was released by FOSUN Sports Group, not Wolves, which is a very important point to make at this stage. This is not owned by Wolverhampton Wanderers 1986 Limited or Wolves as we know them. It's owned by FOSUN, who are our owners.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about SUDU.
So I can stop sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to continue with the next bit.
So the next level up from that is obviously we've talked about the club shop and the staff and Levy merchandising and Wolves being all over their website. So we have a look at Levy merchandising and see what it's about with them. Now you can go on to another government website which gives you the financials of companies. If you're a registered company in the UK, you have to have your accounts published, and that has to go through a solicitors and legal entity and be produced.
Is that the one?
And you have a company called FC Sportswear and Retail Services Limited. This is actually Levy Sportswear, but that's the name they trade as. Which,
as you can see, they are registered in Manchester, and Levy are based in Manchester as well, aren't they? I think
a bit like we call ourselves Wolves, but the actual company's name is Wolverhampton Wanderers 1986 Limited, because of course that's when we reformed after the disaster that was the Batty Brothers, which is also topical at the moment. So,
and this is the retail arm of Levy, because this, you can see, was incorporated obviously on December 2022, so fairly recently as well.
So then if you click at the click on people at there and see who owns this company, works for that company, at the top we've got good old Vinny that we see, and again the same address at Manchester, and don't know this gentleman, but Jonathan Mitchell Davis, that's also a name to remember, because he figures in some of these information sheets later on. And then a bit further down you've got Hu Deng, which not quite sure too much about that guy, but if you do a quick Google on Hu Deng, it flicks his name straight back into Wolves' website. Have you got that link, Dave?
What link would that be?
With Hu Deng and the Wolves page.
Is that the Wolves esports thing?
Yes.
Hold on, let me just copy that. Keep talking, and I'll bang that on in a second.
So Hu Deng looks like he's part of. He's a. I'm not sure the exact title. Some sort of sporting director, let's say, of FOSUN Sports, who's a big involvement on esports. And I think at the bottom of this article, which talks about then this Hu Deng Hu is president of FOSUN Sports, so he's actually there on the Wolves website quoted. So that gives you, direct link to Wolves being involved with Levy to a degree. Go back on that other
Interesting, that is.
page. Yeah, that's something that we probably only picked up in the latter few days, isn't it, Dave? So
Yeah, no, that's great, but it just showed the link and stuff
yeah,
like there that's good research. You want to go back onto the other page now,
yes, yeah.
which is the FC Sportswear and Retail Group.
Mm.
So hopefully, guys, you're enjoying this information.
So
So
we
we're back onto that, mate.
so we've established obviously a link with Vinny and Levy Sports, and we've obviously established a link with Wolves with Deng Hujian. But then if we click on the persons with significant control, so this is where you're moving from directors and managers and board entities to owners, and just
This
see
is gonna blow your mind. This is.
who owns Levy.
Here we go, and it
So
is.
Levy is owned by two people. One of them, which is Compass Contract Services UK Limited. Now, Compass Group is a massive food and service distribution PLC, FTSE 100 share company. Just millions and millions of pounds turnover. So that is a little bit strange. I mean, everybody's wondering what that's all about. We'll talk a bit more about them moving forward.
Yeah.
But it says, I think, that they hold how much percentage of the shares? It
It
says there.
says that they hold more than 25%, but not more than 50%. Ownership of voting rights more than 25%, but not more than 50%.
So
So is
let's
that
say
around
it's
about
let's say
30%?
30%. For
Yeah.
government work, we could use it that. And they own 30% of Levy Merchandising.
So
And then I think there's another owner who we might recognise, who's the owner of Fosun, Guo Kanchang, and it looks like when you look at the ownership of shares, he's got a much bigger stake, and
basically
he's a majority shareholder, in fact.
between 50 and 75% ownership of
So what we're telling you there is obviously the guy that owns Fosun owns Levy Sports. He's a majority shareholder, which brings its own concerns, because what we've now got is the shirts being sold, manufactured by another company, Levy and SUDU, and that company being owned by Guangjiang and not Wolves. And what I'm a little puzzled about and worried about is whether all of that revenue is now moving outside of the club, and how
can I
that
stop
helps
sharing
us.
this now, Chris?
Yeah, and how that helps us with the profit and sustainability, because when we're selling shirts in the club shop and it's going into the cash register, that's going to Wolves. Now we're talking about that maybe not going to Wolves, and the people who are making the shirts, which we've been told was the driver why we wanted to do this, so we could make more money out of the shirts. It looks like it's going elsewhere.
Well, we're not trying to say exactly where the money is going or anything like that, because at the end of the day, all we're doing here is a bit of investigating research that we've done over quite a bit of time, is letting you guys know what the links are. We're not saying it's a bad thing. We're not saying it's a good thing. Time will tell. My understanding, Wolves have obviously outsourced into esports. They've done music. They've already gone into fashion, and Levy retail, the catering side of it, obviously are in a lot of football clubs and earn a lot of money. So Wolves, we're bringing out this brand, although it's not directly through Wolves. It's sort of like through all these different channels. Wolves, it all comes back to Vinnie Clark's. It's obviously a discussion that's happened. A company has been formed. Conversations have obviously been had. They've seen this sort of idea. Guo's, put the money behind it, invested in it. They've come up with the brand. Wolves made an announcement not long ago that they were going to be getting leisure wear from levy merchandising, but it all comes into sort of this one full circle where it's all the dots are being joined. And today, SUDU have actually properly launched their website, which I'll show you the website because it's only launched today, this website. And it is a nice website. You go on it, it's a proper professional, nice website. As you can see, we're moving parts. It tells you about what they're saying. We're a sportswear brand that represents that respect resilience. We're talking to those who rise before dawn, push through the pain, never back down from a challenge. We're not rewriting rules. We're refining the classics to give you all sports clothing and footwear you love, done really well. They go on to say, we know greatness and achieved at the finish line or through the medals. The moment's gone. It's cultivating every aspect of life. They say their mission is to fuel potential of every individual, empowering everyone to unleash their inner champion. And their vision, that's their vision, to empowerment knows no bounds. A sportswear brand that not only equips individuals with the tools they need to excel physical pursuits, but also empowers mindsets of every motion. And then it goes on to say they stand for authenticity, fair play, every step counts, functionality, and there's a lot more on it there. So, you know, you can go onto sudu.co.uk and find out a little bit more about this. This is launched today, and it is a nice website. And obviously, it doesn't really say anything at this particular point, as you can see, about, you know, Wolves or anything like that. It's got nothing on that. You've got your tops and your t-shirts. You've got your women's wear stuff that you've got your men's wear stuff. You've got jackets and all that sort of stuff that's going there. It's got a bit more on the about us page, but it's a nice website. Okay, there's obviously money gone into that website, and there's a brand. So they've launched as a leisure wear brand today. I know a few people thought maybe they'd launched the Wolves kit with it. That was never the plan. They're launching obviously as a leisure wear, and then that's gonna follow suit. So before we move on to the shirt sponsorship, and a little bit more about this, the reason we're bringing you this is just to get a little bit more of an understanding of where it is now. The bit that Chris was concerned about, and we don't know, is if all of this is going to bring in money to Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club, and as what Wolves came out with a long while, we want to be this sort of Red Bull model where we've got revenue streams coming in from everywhere to compete with all the bigger ones, and the money's coming back into Wolves, and they start selling all the leisure wear, making decent profit, and then they roll them out like Castor have done into other sports, into other clubs, and that money's funneling back into Wolves, then that could really help grow Wolves' revenues, and it could be a positive thing. But is it like just going to go into FOSUN sports and stop there? Because the thing that a lot of fans don't really get is, how does esports benefit Wolves? How does music benefit Wolves? How does fashion benefit Wolves? And Wolves, the football team, how does that benefit us? Where's the money coming back in? And that's the bit where I think Wolves wish there would be a little bit more transparent with, so that, if they saying that to the supporters and they know that money that's going to help our income, which is going to help grow the club and be able to compete at a higher level, that's a good thing.
I think it could help there. I think if you look at esports and places like China, that's massive, and if the Wolves esports team are suddenly knocking out SUDU shirts that all these PC gamers are buying, and that's making a load of money for SUDU, which finds its way to Wolves, then that's great, because it's a whole revenue stream that we weren't getting. It was only the shirts and hoodies that you see and stuff in the club shop that we'd have sold before. So if that all stitches that together, really, really great, really positive. I'd just like to see that it does, and I can't see that at the moment.
So we'll have to wait and see on that. But hopefully you found that information of use and of interest and how that all links together. Obviously, that comes on to now the betting sponsor. Now, just want to say, like, one thing that I do know with Astropay, for example, and one of the benefits that they did get in terms of commercial revenue was with that. One of the things that Wolves are trying to do when sponsors are looking to come into Wolves and sponsor Wolves kits is that they can say, we can offer you not just the football sponsorship, but esports sponsorship so they can get more revenue and stand out from the crowd. That's one of the benefits that that gets extra revenue into Wolves. But obviously, we all know that betting sponsorship is going to be banned on shirts, the front of the shirts, from a couple of years' time. They will still be able to have betting sponsorship on the sleeve. You'll still see betting sponsorship in the stadium. And as you can see from all of these here, Debet is, well, it's not on that one. Debet is going to be the sponsor. So anyway, this is something that apparently is on the front page of the of the um, of the Debet website, and as you can see Mario Lemina and Wang He Chan are on there. From my understanding, Debet are a Vietnamese company, and Wolves are going to be going down by all accounts. From allegedly what we understand, Wolves are going to be going with Debet as their sponsor. And I know I do believe it was talked about at the fans advisory board meeting. And the reason that they're going for this is because they can get in 2 years effectively 5 years revenue. My understanding is that it is going to be worth around about £7 million to Wolves for the shirt sponsorship. Obviously, it won't be moved over onto all the younger kits. They will have to have a different sponsor like before. This company as well is probably a long, as we've had a long history. W88, ManBet. None of them had a UK presence, but it's going to be all aimed at the Asia betting market. Because they know that through the sponsorship of a Premier League club and all the assets that go with it and the visibility, it's watched worldwide. They get their advertising back off that. But I don't expect the bet will be available as a UK betting operator license. It will be, from what I understand, aimed at the Asia betting market. Now, whether you agree with betting or not, I mean, most of us would prefer not to have a betting sponsor on front of the shirt. And they won't be able to have a betting sponsor on front of the shirt in a couple of years' time anyway, because that's going to be outlawed. But Wolves have gone for the money, basically. What would have been great, in my opinion, if they're coming out with the betting sponsor, it would have been fantastic to have said, look, guys, we've gone with the betting sponsor. It's going to bring us a shed load more money, but we're going to keep your season tickets frozen or low. And that would have been a really good PR way of selling it, but they obviously haven't gone down that route, and we've got the uproar with all the season tickets. Chris, what's your take on that?
The debate thing is a little bit strange because the face on that website, on that page you showed, Dave, it's got the German flag on there, which I don't understand what's going on there with the. I mean, I originally thought DE was, like you see that on car plate stickers for countries.
German,
I thought something to do with German, but obviously it's not. I don't know too much about them. I think it's betting companies now. There'll be some other type of sponsor that we have in 10 years' time that then people don't want us to have. If you want to be really hypercritical, when we had Goodyear, rubber's not a particularly nice substance to be involved with, and
we had the money shop as well.
Yeah, the money shop, and there's
Doritos.
always be something that somebody doesn't like, and I'm not saying I'm a fan of betting companies. It's if we can get something else that's a much more uh, likable sponsor, that's what I like. But you also got to then bear in mind if we say, okay, we're going to be ethical, we're going to toe the lines, which we've done with the FFP, and we get 2 million quid in from Dave's taxes or something, and that's on the front of the shirt, and then you've got Everton getting 7 million in because they're sponsored by some betting company and somebody else, and it's not level playing field. So whilst it's something that can be done, I don't think really we've got much choice. We've got to,
It obviously won't be on the kids' kits and stuff like that, and
no,
obviously they'll have a training wear sponsor. We've got Leo Vegas on the training wear anyway, and in a couple of years' time, although you'll see betting sponsorship around the stadium and on the sleeve, it won't be on the front. They've gone for the money. I think they've missed a trick. They could have had a really good PR with that and going, you know what, we're getting a lot of money for this, but it's gonna help keep your season ticket prices down. But that's the bit that everyone obviously, whether you like, we all don't want a betting sponsor on the front. It's the times that we live in. It is one of those things. And it's bringing extra revenue into the club. So, you know, commercially, it kind of makes sense, even if ethically it's not really doesn't sit well. It could have been sold a lot better if they'd have put it alongside the season ticket froze or lower price. I think that's a missed opportunity. I mean, they're going to be raising around about £3 million from the season tickets increase. That's nothing. If you consider we're getting 5 million because baggies didn't go up because of
yeah,
because the baggies haven't gone up. Because two Premier League clubs that were relegated last year don't now have to have the parachute payments. The third one gets given back to all of the clubs. So Wolves get about 5 million for that. So it's a bit of an own goal. And obviously,
I think it's a massive own goal. I couldn't join you on Sunday when you had the thing. It's squeezing a sponge for something that you're at the point with a sponge where there's not much water left. There's nothing else coming out of it, and really, you get to the point where you think, well, what's the point in doing it anymore? And I think they've made a real big error in doing what they've done, and I just see the next season becoming more and more. You can already see it now on social media. The club puts something out in the last day on social media, and it's basically being attacked by people
well, yeah, I mean
who are upset.
that's what's happening. I don't know if any of you seen on socials where every time they put a post out, it's just being obliterated. And of course the owners Fosun must be seeing this. It's not good for their brand either or their association, whatever you think of them. The chairman's made a call, and we've got together with other fan channels with the trust. We've sent in the letters. I know as we're recording this, there's a trust meeting tonight with all the members. There's lots going on as fans that we're trying to do in the right way. And in the right way and putting the pressure on. There's been a lot of media coverage on that, and it's down now to, we're moving slightly off this. It's down now to obviously the chairman, really. And guys, from my understanding, I've been told by multiple sources that senior figures within Wolves said even before this went out, and I've heard it from a few that they implored Jeff not to go with this, and senior members have said, but ultimately the final decisions with the chairman, Jeff. He's pretty much the final word on everything, and obviously fans have been emailing. There's been a lot of coverage. We wait and see what happens to see whether there is any change on that. And we will do our very best to support that campaign in the right ways. We're not on here, calling for, we're concentrating. We want the investment to come into the stadium and into the team. We'd like the season ticket prices reviewed. We want to see ambition. We just today giving you the information on the new kit supply, which we fairly, it's fairly commonly out there. It is. We've linked it all together. I hope you found that of interest. And when the kit comes out, whether you like the designs or not, you'll make your own decision. Like you, Chris, you saw the red shirt last year, didn't like it, saw it in person, then liked it. Until you actually see it for real, you can't really tell. But the key thing is, for me, when the shirt does come out, the design, if it's good and nice, if the quality's there, then great. But if it's cheap and nasty, they're going to get pelters for that. So I'm hoping that it's going to be good quality. And obviously, SUDU as a website, that's what it's saying they're all about. So we'll wait and see on that. Before we finish, is there any quick questions for me or Chris on any of this before we finish off?
Yeah, David, I'd just like to say I'm probably not going to buy the shirts this year. I'm going to use the money that I would have bought for shirts to pay for the ticket increase. Some people are saying they're not going to have their season tickets, and I'm still going. It's for me, it's an opportunity for me to go and watch the game, spend some time with my son. That's something I want to continue to doing, and whilst I don't want to pay an increase, unfortunately I'm going to have to. But what it will mean is that's got to come from somewhere, Jeff. And unfortunately, it means I'm probably not going to buy shirts, mate.
Do you know what? And I think a lot of people will probably look at that, because if they end up having to pay the increase to go, and there's obviously people that can't. We're going to get to the questions in a second, guys, in the chat. There are a lot of people that are going to go, well, yeah, you take him, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and they just won't spend in the shop. They'll basically, I ain't going to spend that money. That money's, you got a reasonably priced season ticket, people that then spend money in the shop, and a lot of people will decide, well, we can't afford to do that. Let's just get in on to some of the questions. Anne thinks they won't back down. You might be right, Anne. We'll see. When do you set off to Germany, Chris?
I shall be in Germany on. I shall actually be in Germany on the 10th of June, only for an hour because I'm going to Estonia. But I'm heading into Germany on the 14th of June to start following England.
And Chris is going to be our roving reporter out there. Andy Saunders is asking, what do you think the cost of the shirts will be? Well, I think the shirts last year were about £55. If it's a 17% increase, it could end up being, the replica could be about 70 quid. If it's a reasonable increase, it might be 60. Obviously, the pro kits will be a little bit more. I don't know how they're doing, whether they're doing pro and replica, how they're doing that, but we'll wait and see on that. Maybe they'll freeze the they'll freeze the prices on the kits. We will see. Neil's thinking they will change the badge next. Can't happen, mate, because of the government.
It's a heritage item.
It's a heritage item. It can't be just changed without approval from the fans and the fans advisory board. So that can't happen. Same with the colours. So
Want me to explain a bit about that, Dave?
Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
Okay, so heritage items, the clock, for example, the club badge, I think the collar of the home shirt, things like that are classed as heritage. It's part of our DNA. So part of the fan advisory board process was to sit and agree those heritage items, and part of the guidelines to clubs with the FSA and the fan advisory board is that those cannot be messed with or changed or altered, even with consultation. I don't think they can change them. They could ask if there's a reason why they'd like to have it done and propose it, but it can't happen without the fan advisory board agreeing it as a minimum.
Absolutely. Carl's asking, do we think they'll do like the shirt and the patch betting company on and something different for the juniors? Yeah, absolutely.
I think they have to, yeah.
Yeah, I think they will do. Um, I think that's about it, mate. Listen, guys, thanks ever so much for joining us. If you've enjoyed and found this video of value, please smash a like. If you're watching it back on catch up, let you leave your thoughts in the comments. We'll try and put it out on podcast as well. Luke Holmes is asking, will I be going to the USA Day for pre-season? Unfortunately, unless someone's going to sponsor me to go, no, sadly, I'd love to go. But the cost is prohibitive for me, unfortunately.
I was
Especially,
considering it, Dave. We've talked about it before, haven't we? I did want to try and do, but again, it sounds like a moaning session about Wolves. Far too late to let us know. Didn't organise it in time. People don't want to use official travel. People are looking at the track record about previous tours being cancelled.
I do want to
Yeah.
sort of say, like, I know that Russell's worked really, really hard on that, and it was South Korea. It's very, very difficult to put a pre-season tour together. There's a lot of moving parts in it. It was hopeful they wanted to get it sorted in the middle of March. It is a bit late, but it's very difficult, and they didn't want to commit to something and have it fall through again. Although they've sort of covered themselves by they want you to go through the official travel. Obviously, there'll be other pre-season friendlies. There'll probably be a Molineux friendly. We'll keep you updated here on the channel. Obviously, if you've just found us, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications. And we'll see you on the next work. Thank you very much for saying about the good work that we've put in, and we just try to give you some insight. And as I say, reserve judgment on everything in terms of how it will roll, whether how the money will roll into us. That will come out into time, and obviously on the kits, they ain't been launched yet, but that's the background to it, and I hope you've found it of value. So from myself and Chris, till the next one, always Wolves.